So now we are live. Matt and I are currently pair programming the Docker update branch, and we're going to fix things. I cannot share my screen because of my window compositor Wayland. So from my previous machine, I was using Xserver, which is okay for screen sharing, but now I'm using Wayland, which is the new protocol, and apparently Hangouts and Jitsi and all those things, it's not working as expected. I cannot share my screen right now. So this is because Matt is going to do it. And Matt is also already on the Docker file. Yeah. So if you're switching into a terminal and just say docker -compose space up, I'm very interested what's going on now on your machine. So on my machine, I was getting some weird errors. Okay, so you have to pull all the base images first.
Yeah.
So it's current on your machine. It's going to build.
Yours, it's already done this stuff because you've run this before. I was just asking if on your machine, like it doesn't pull all of these images because you've already run this command before.
Yeah. It's Docker is taking care of images, and if you haven't have it on your machine somewhere, then it's taking it from there.
So yeah, you can see that it's running yarn install,
which is good.
Yep. So first thing it did, it set the working directory for front end. Then it added the package.json, yarn.lock, and then it's running yarn install. Which is, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, first it does this node 8.11.1, right?
So I cannot share my screen, but I can tell you what's going on. So I was typing in docker compose run -rm, which will not -rm was the parameter to not save the image itself, something. You're supposed to add this parameter when you say run, because I don't know, Docker is caching something which you don't want to cache if you're doing this command.
Yeah.
And then you can say sh for shell, which will give you a shell inside the container, and from there you can say yarn install, which I'm going to do now. I can double check if I'm actually adding the front, and no. So the volume, so the shared directories do not include the node modules folder. And that explains why I do have all the dependencies on my host machine, but I don't have the dependencies within my container. Right?
Yeah.
So it means whenever you merge in master, you have to install the dependencies manually within your container, which I would say is okay. Maybe we'll find a better solution.
Okay.
Maybe we can, in fact, add node modules as a shared folder.
Yeah. So you have a folder shared.
Yeah, so in the Docker compose file, you can find under volumes which folders are shared between your host system and your container. It still gives me error messages. Why? Why does aha? Okay, now it makes sense. Probably because the rm command, in fact, doesn't save it. So I'm getting so confused by Docker. Docker shell. So I just ran docker compose run, followed by shell, installing the dependencies.
Yep.
And it did install the dependencies, but when I on my host system say docker compose up again, it again tells me there are missing dependencies. So probably what I was doing before with the parameter --rm, that was basically not what I wanted, because I wanted it to save it in the container. So my changes mutating the file system inside the container were supposed to be saved. So this is my interpretation of this error message right here.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you if I'm right in a couple of minutes, as soon as the dependencies are updated. Docker is still a mysterious, like a miracle to me.
Mm-hmm. It says on mine that it's done, but
yeah, pulling the dependencies is done, but it has to do more steps. So the log output step 7 out of 9 is coming from Docker, whereas the log output in between comes from the commands in the respective step.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That makes sense.
And now apparently it's starting to build the backend on your machine.
Yeah.
So now it's done on my machine. I'll say exit. I'm leaving the front-end container, and now I run Docker compose up again, and let's see if I still get the missing dependency error. Yes, I do. So my understanding is actually wrong. I don't know why I get those errors. So apparently my front is down, and I'm not able to manually fix it. So when I say localhost 4200, there's nothing. Yeah, that makes sense. If I say localhost on my host system, localhost 3000, there's also nothing. Why?
That means there's no backend or front-end.
Front-end is not running, but I don't understand why the backend does not run. So I do have more errors. So on my lag, I see that gem not found. Same thing. So for both my frontend and my backend, I've got missing dependencies. I have no idea how to fix it. So I'm going to rebuild all the Docker images. Docker compose rebuild. So I'm now Googling how to rebuild images, how to like force Docker to rebuild my images.
Okay. This here in the middle, the warning image for service front end was built because it did not already exist. To rebuild this image, you must use Docker compose build or Docker compose up build with a tag build. Were you getting that as well? Is that normal?
So what I just Googled is that Docker compose build is the command that I need in order to rebuild the images. So I can, for example, say now Docker compose up -- build.
Yeah.
And that apparently rebuilds front and back end and so on. Yeah, now it's also running yarn install. Well, I just don't understand why I cannot run yarn install manually. Usually I can say, I can, similar to an SSH connection, I can connect with my container and execute commands there, and they get persisted. And that was what I was trying before, and it didn't work.
Right.
So now I'm rebuilding the images, and I see that it's installing the dependencies. So this is something we have to fix for the future in order to make it reliable, like this installation.
Yeah, because the person that like lots of people won't go through the trouble to troubleshoot what's going on.
Yeah. I wonder who's faster, you or me. On my machine, it's currently installing the node dependencies.
Complete.
Not yet.
Installed 28 packages. Well, it said complete, you know.
Yeah, but that's the CentOS operating system, not Docker.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's confusing.
It is.
I got all happy, you know.
Yeah, the Docker is now installing the CentOS backend and installing all the required dependencies in order to run. It's still fetching packages on my machine. Why? Does it not have internet connection? Maybe. I would love to show you my screen.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
I think it hangs on my machine.
So I talked to Sam, and yeah, the screen sharing is working, obviously, because you tested that, but the recording is not working still. They haven't configured it yet for our Jitsi.
Yeah, it hangs on my machine.
Yeah, it's happening in Hangouts as well, right? So you're going to a Vue.js meetup tonight?
Yeah.
Nice. There's one here soon, I think, or it just happened. I can't remember. I was gonna go, but then I think I forgot. I need to get into the habit of, or yeah, if you join the groups, then they send you an email, right, when they put a new. But there's days sometimes I go without going onto Meetup, and then sometimes I go there, and then there's already 100 people in the waiting list, you know.
I don't know what's wrong, but I'm going to remove everything, like everything that Docker cached, all the containers, because I have no idea what's going on. Docker. Stopping all containers. No.
I got another complete, but I don't know. I think it's not Docker. Removing the intermediate container. Postgres installed. And now it's installing Ruby.
Suddenly I have a lot of like 4 gigabytes more in space.
All right, nice. Because you
I removed the. Yeah, my branch is ahead of origin Docker update by 1 commit. Why is that? Update local node version. That's okay. Should not affect your build. This is something really annoying. If you're doing a complex Docker setup, it takes a long time sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even just running this command, it takes a long time, and then if it fails in the middle of it several times, then
Okay, probably not so interesting for people who are going to watch this pairing later on. Just two guys waiting for Docker.
Yeah, it's true. We need to add some color commentary. And now it's compiling time.c.
On American television, you always have two commenters, right? Because it's more entertaining. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, unless there's like some for Dodgers baseball, they had Vin Scully, who did for I think 60 years or something like that, and he did it by himself, But it's not common at all.
Ah, because it's quite unusual in German television. Everything like soccer games, you always have just one commenter.
Really?
But, yeah. I don't know why.
It's cheaper.
Maybe. But I couldn't like think of anything more boring than someone who's just commenting compilation output.
Yeah.
Like when you're compiling something.
Yeah, Richie, I can see yours as well. What's going on with yours? It's removing the container.
I just removed all the images that were on my machine right now, and now it's downloading. Oh no. Actually, I get the same error again. So it's hanging on step 3, fetching packages in my front end. But you didn't get that error, did you?
No, I don't.
Installing the front end, right? The building of the front end was just all right.
Yeah, I didn't see any problems. Just like I think there was that warning that I said. Is there, because on my terminal I can't. There's only a limited amount of space that I can scroll up. Is there? Do you know of a file that it saves the log?
I can advise you to run tmux. So I'm also using a terminal that doesn't have scroll back, and I'm running tmux, and that has pretty much indefinite scroll back. Infinite scroll back. Tmux is actually something for like it's a terminal multiplexer. So you have one terminal, and you can run many terminals in the terminal window. It's helpful for if you're running in a system like yours. I mean, you have tabs, okay, but you can have you just have one terminal window, and then you say tmux, and have split screens, and you can and a lot more. I think you can even run several commands in different windows and so on.
I think maybe Sam has, because I've seen that he has it organized where like each project has its own terminal. It seems.
So what's going on in your machine right now? Is it compiling Ruby, or what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently I was just too impatient. It successfully went through step 3, fetching packages. Now it's linking dependencies. So it's just way slower in the Docker container than on my machine. Like this step, fetching packages.
Yep.
It's not very interactive. I don't see a lot of outputs, what's going on. So it's just, I was just too impatient. Which is unfortunate.
Gem install bundler at the moment. Yeah, so it's in the back end. Yeah. I want to have a look at the Docker file in the back end as well. Docker file back end. So it did this. Now it's so now it's running adding the gem files and running bundle install. Yeah. So I recognize that output. I had a little bit of a breakthrough on a personal project that I'm working on where it's completely in Ruby on Rails. Although at some point, I think I'll probably add a front end in some sort of client-based JavaScript type thing. But and I got it to where now it's I deployed it to Heroku, but then I started making changes, and yeah, like I wasn't using other branches. I wasn't in the habit at that time, so I started making changes, and then I wasn't able to get it to pass the test, but I ended up getting that figured out, and now it has some really nice features where you can go and you can just click on some buttons, and it automatically adds like the product ID to the sale, you know. So.
Unfortunately, it's already 6 o'clock. I would say that I'm waiting for you. If the Docker container is successfully built on your machine, and see if you can run front-end or back-end tests. So if you are able to run back-end tests, that's already something. If you're able to run front-end tests, that's even better. Okay. And I do remember that I stopped trying out if so running full stack tests was still an issue. So I'm not expecting this to work. But if we were very, very lucky, then we are able to run backend and frontend tests respectively, plus having a working environment. So you can point your browser to localhost 4200 and you see something. Okay. That would be awesome.
And how does so you run the tests inside of just like after this Docker Compose app finishes, it's gonna take you to its own terminal, or you run them in?
Do this. This is what Docker Compose run allows you to do.
You need to. I remember that. Bundle complete. Image for service backend was built because it did not already exist. To rebuild the image, blah, blah, blah. Building features.
Yeah, that would be the container which is at the very top, which depends on front end and back end.
Okay.
So we are almost there.
Yeah, I mean, we got through the two biggest parts, right? It's these awkward pauses, no? Where you're like, hello. Are you still paying attention?
I'll be back in a minute.
Yep.
So, did it work? Are you done? No. Features install. Ah, yeah. I don't think we have to worry about that. So it's not able to install an X server. So I guess we can just ignore that. Are you able to run? No. So Docker Compose and run gives you a way of running commands in your container. So you could, for example, do now docker minus compose. Instead of up, you say run. Then you specify the name of the container. We have containers frontend, backend, features, and so on. So that would be one way. And if no, it's just frontend without the slash. So that's just the name. That's the name that's corresponding to the container in your Docker Compose YAML file. And you could, for example, then say sh, short for shell, which gives you a shell. Right. So you could, for example, then say amber server or amber test minus minus server. Yep. You can do the same thing in another terminal with the backend. Docker Compose run backend. And then I think you even have a bash in the backend. So you could, instead of sh, you could also say bash. You have to say run. So the syntax is Docker Compose, then run, then the name of the container, then whatever your command you want to run on the container. That would be, for example, bash. So the backend container is running on CentOS, which has bash, at least. Now we can say bin/rspec. Okay, so how about going to localhost? Yeah, exactly. No, unable to connect, which is unfortunate. Is the port exposed in the Docker Compose YAML file? It is. So 7357 is actually on line number 17. It's supposed to be exposed. How about the backend? Oh yeah. So okay, this is nice because it's telling you that there's a database connection, but there's just no database. And we can just run bin rails db create db migrate. Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need the ampersand, ampersand. Ampersand and ampersand is for different commands. You can here just say db migrate, just like that. So adding rake tasks one after another is possible. Okay, so we have at least a database connection. No, that doesn't work. If you cannot get, if you cannot see the tests in your browser, I think there's something wrong with the configuration. Okay, so backend tests are running, which is nice. By the way, Matthew, your microphone is muted.
All right.
I mean, I was thinking about why is Matt so silent.
Yeah, it's not normal. I was wondering if I'm trying to think if I asked any questions since you came back. I was wondering if I was asking if this waiting for runners was just because it's running in the Docker Compose, so it doesn't actually open its browser, and you have to actually manage.
Opening the browser automatically was added in your version of Ember, and this message is always shown when there's no browser connected connected with the test server. So if you would, if the port was correctly exposed, you should be able to get your, that's okay. This is probably just a flaky test. So backend tests are just running fine. If you run the backend test again, probably this test error will go away. This
Sorry.
Weird. Just that this test should have been fixed a long time ago.
Here, broadcast spec 141. And I have 430 tests. Here. Right?
No, that's not the one. You're in the wrong file.
Okay. So it's statistic broadcast spec.
Yeah. Huh? Requests, statistic, broadcast spec.
Yeah, this is the model. Statistics.
The lower one. Last line, yeah. Yeah, this code was fixed in master. Did I not rebase on master? Git fetch.
Yeah, it's failing again.
Current branch Docker update is up to date. Extremely weird, because I fixed that test, like this flaky test. I fixed that one like a week ago, and I thought this is in master. I'm double checking it now.
Okay.
Maybe this is not yet in master for some strange reason. So which line is it? Can you tell me the line number?
141.
It is fixed. If you check it on GitHub, you see a different test setup than in your editor right now.
Right.
You are on Docker, the branch Docker update, and you pulled, did you?
When I switched to the branch, did I pull? No, I don't think I did.
Yeah, could you please just pull the Docker update branch and reset it on the current upstream branch? That's the reason why. because we have it on the upstream branch.
For this I can quit, right?
Yeah, you can quit that one and also leave. Like if you say exit, then you will leave the Docker container. Same thing with the backend.
Okay. And then git pull.
Yeah, if you're on Docker update, you can say git pull, and you will get a conflict because of forced pushed. So there are commits on the upstream branch which are not. You can just say git if you don't have any changes. You can say git reset and then origin / docker -- hard. That will reset your index in both your working directory or your working copy on the upstream branch. No, not master, but a Docker update because you're currently on Docker update.
Okay. I thought we were resetting to the master. No, I'm resetting this branch so that there's no more merge conflicts.
Yeah, this is the hard way of getting rid of merge conflicts. If you don't have any changes you're interested in, if you say git status, there should be no unstaged changes now.
Yeah.
There you go. So if you connect with your Docker container in the backend and run the backend tests again, the flaky test should be gone.
Oh, so I don't need to pull from master. That's what this.
Now you don't have to pull from master because I did that. I rebased the current Docker update branch on the master branch. So pulling from master would have no effect. You can now just run Docker compose run backend, bash again, and yeah, and also in the tutorials, they always have the --rm parameter applied to run. I think that means, so if you do anything with Docker, Docker keeps track of every change. So if you don't want to keep track of that change, since you're just running tests, you can specify --rm, and that will not give you, yeah, I think it's between run and backend. I don't know. --rm, this will now be supplied to the container. What you want is you want to supply this parameter to you want to add it to Docker. So if you just put it behind run and backend, or like this, yeah, I think this also works. I do it between run and backend. I don't know if that works. No, this doesn't work. So you have to put it in between run and backend. Yeah, like that.
But then it doesn't make it. It doesn't make a difference that I ran Docker Compose up while it wasn't like there weren't any changes in the master that.
I mean, yeah, the master branch didn't have any changes related to the Docker update branch. Of course, if you would have any changes in the Docker Compose YAML files, that would affect your current setup. You would have to say Docker Compose -up -build again. But since we know that there are no changes related to Docker, we can just say, yeah, of course, and you have missing dependencies. That's correct. So you can say bundle install. And what I was talking about before, I don't know, since you specified --rm now, I don't know if the installation of gems will be persisted, but we'll see that. So if you say bin -rspec, at least the test should be okay.
Oh.
All right, yeah, because that's another, haha, okay. This is another, yeah, you can just copy config. This is the pull request that I just merged. You have to copy the database YAML template. Yeah, the README also changed. Now, I think Seago added the instructions to the README.
This here, add database template file.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a failing build server again, because of course the build server doesn't copy. Yeah. Yeah, all you have to do is to copy config slash database template YAML to config slash database YAML in the backend.
Config at backend, config database YAML, database template YAML, database Travis YAML.
Yeah, I think I have to leave soon because it's already 20 past.
Yeah. Where's the database? Just the database YAML. Config
The template YAML. And the database YAML doesn't exist. You have to copy it as you do it in other Rails applications.
So like I can come here to config.
Oh shit. The deployment on production failed. So right now we have a downtime. I didn't anticipate that, but of course the database YAML file is not present on our and we have an error probably. No, we don't. Okay, fair enough. So Capistrano does not, if the deployment fails, it's still the old. Okay, so I'll cover that later on. So the deployment failed because Travis doesn't have. So many things to consider. So this pull request which I merged from Sigo and Faith, everything is just fine. I mean, you only have to do is to add to copy a database YAML file and maybe change it if necessary. That's important for people who are running on Mac OS 10 because they need to have this configuration host specified. It's a little bit different than compared to my machine. And now, if you look in the current build server of the master branch, you can see that at the very end, the automatic deployment fails. And this is because this is because in the deployment script, Travis does not copy over the database YAML file. So on the build server, it has a YAML file, but it's there's no, when running the deployment, this YAML file is not copied to the remote server. Oh. I guess that requires some manual intervention of mine. Do you see the problem, Matt?
Yeah, there's no database.yaml file, right?
Yeah, on our production server. Capistrano, the deployment tool, is pulling code from the repository when it does deployments.
Yep.
So it's not your machine, but the remote repository where it takes the data from. And there's no database YAML in the remote repository, so we have to tell Capistrano to create one. Maybe we put Docker at the side and first fix Capistrano. And if you really want to, you can Google Capistrano database YAML, and I'm pretty sure other people have the same problem, and you find a solution online. Unfortunately, I have to leave now because it's past, and I have to worry about that later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay.
Maybe you can give me some suggestions, or maybe you can even send me a pull request where this could be fixed according to your research. Probably it's just a minor thing, but yeah, we'll see. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I found a blog talking about Capistrano and database YAML. I can have a look.
Yeah. All right. Now I'll hit the stop broadcast button and leave this Hangouts, unfortunately.
Yeah. Enjoy your meeting. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.